Hello, this is Danny from Danny's Design Studio, and this is Friday Night Live, except this is not live because it is a pre-recorded video, as it will go out on Good Friday, which is a bank holiday in the UK. So I decided that it would probably be easier to do a pre-recorded video. And the Friday Night Lives is all about showing you what we did in Coffee and Card in the previous week. So this is what we did in this week, this past week. So it was a fancy fold, and it's actually called a swing fold card. So it opens out like this, folds flat. This is in a square envelope. For the envelope, I have on my website is a template to make your own envelope that will actually take this size card. So just need to look back on that a few weeks ago when I did a Friday Night Live. So this one is quite cute, I think. And then basically what I've done is you can write your greeting on the back, but it comes out flat like this. You could put your greeting, you could put a white panel there and some DSP there. You could decorate it slightly differently if you wanted to. It's entirely up to you, but this is how I did mine, and I think it's really cute, and not at all difficult, as you will find out. So what I've used is the Wisteria Wishes and the dies. So the Wisteria Wishes is currently, as I speak, today is the 5th of April 2023, and it's on sale as we're going to a new catalogue, so it's actually retiring. It's 30% off at the moment, so if you would like to get it, that's stamp set only. If you wanted it as a bundle, it is not on sale, it's just the normal price of 10% off if you buy the bundle together. Okay, so let's get started on making this card. So this is in basic grey, the card base, and then I've used the purple is Highland Heather, and this is Gorgeous Grape and Fresh Freesia. Let's see if you can see that, and Pear Pizzazz. Those are the colours in there. So let's get started on cutting. So you need 2 sheets of basic grey, and it's going to be put onto my website, all the instructions. So you need 2 pieces, and it's 28 by 14 and then scored in the middle at 14. So you need 2 sheets of that. So I'm just going to cut this. This is my second sheet of basic grey, and with that you can use to cut out the square in the middle. So this is my second sheet, and I've done my first A4, which I will show you in a minute what I'm going to do with that. But you're going to score this in intervals of 7. So let me just check. 7. That's right. So with the long piece at the top, it's 7 centimeters, and you're scoring, not cutting. 7, 14 and 21. And then you take one end and you're going to score 2 centimeters on each side down to that score line. So 2 centimeters. I'm just going to have to stand up for this, see what you can see. Centre it a little bit. So if you can see, that little line here will correspond to the score line here. So I'm going to put it at number 2, and then I'm going to line it up with that score line here and that little indentation on this bit, and I'm going to score upwards, and that should give me a little score line down to that level, that first level. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. Score it at 2. I'm going to line it up to that score line, that marker, to that line, and that's what it should give me. So then, and that is all there is to it, apart from some burnishing. I'm going to burnish this so that you can see. Now this, if you take your piece of card in this way, so you've got these 2 score lines here, you've got your first panel, second and third panel. This panel is going to be a valley fold, so you're going to burnish it that way. This little score line is going to be a mountain fold, so you're going to burnish it that way. And then the last one is going to be a valley fold again. So it's going to look like that. Okay, so then we've got these score lines and that bit, and basically we want to chop all of this away. So you turn it round, so these score lines are facing me. I'm going to cut up this score line, same on the other side, and then push those 2 up, and then I'm going to cut all of this off. So that's a spare piece that you can use somewhere, and that all will be revealed shortly. So that is your fold. Now we'll deal with that in a minute. Now your first piece, I said, was 28 by 14, scored at 14 centimetres. That gives you your square card. Now what I've used here, I need to make a little aperture, square aperture. So I'm using, sorry, the stylish shape dies. So I'm using this one and this one. Now that is the 7 by 7. This is the 7 by 7, and this one is the 6 by 6. Yeah, because if you see, it is where it cuts it, you'll find you get a little dotted line inside, and you get a little stitched line on the outside, which is really nice. So I'm going to put that through my embossing stamp cut and emboss machine. Let's put that here. Right, so if you're doing it with white card, I would put a piece of little white copy paper just to protect your card from all this stuff, but this is not too bad on grey. And anyway, actually we're going to emboss it, aren't we? So I'm just going to put that through, and that, oh dear, that's it. Right, so what I should have is, take my post-it note off carefully. I've got one inner piece and one outer piece. Let me see what you can see. So you can see that lovely stitched line outside there. And then what I'm going to do is then I'm going to emboss, find my embossing folder. You need a 3D embossing folder because it's the biggest one, because obviously it's a big square card. So always put your embossing folder this way with the fold over edge through first. So I'm then going to half emboss this. So I'm going to put that on this edge here. So that, I'm trying to do it so you can still see, but I need to see as well, and the camera's in the way. Right, so just lining it all up and then lining it up there, and then I need my stamping platform number 1, and then I need the grey. Pop that through first, then I need the grey number 4, so platform 1 and number 4 to go through. So let's see. Right, hasn't come out completely. Let me just do that bit slightly again, because I didn't know where it came to the edge here. Let's do that again. Apologies for the, there we go, I heard it that time. I'm going to go right through. Oops, camera's just collapsed. There we go, sorry about that. So, as you can see, it's all gone through well. So let me just put this behind me so it's out of my way, and then we will move on to the next step. So that's that piece, and then I would do the 6 by 6 inch on the scrap bit that I had earlier. Okay, so that's cut out, and then I will put it, mount it onto some Highland heather and give it a little rim, and it's only just a couple of centimetres around there, but it will all be on my website. Let me just put these away as well, because I notoriously always lose things. So that's your front bit. Let's burnish that again. So there we go. So that's that bit. Let's go back to this bit. Adjust all of this because it took a little bit of a knock. My mic's fallen off. Okay, so now what we need to do is, this is the fold, will basically be stuck. So this back panel will be stuck down there, and then this front panel that we've already cut, these 2 tabs, is going to be stuck down like that. So I am going to do that now. Right. Stick that down first. I always find it's easier to stick the back panel down first and then work forwards. So it's all lining up, and then fold it down, and then these 2 panels, these 2 tabs are going to go like this. So that is the basis of your card. There we go. So then we want, if you look at the original, we want this little square inside here. So as I said, I then cut out the 6 by 6 inch 6 centimeters by 6 centimeters square, and then mounted it on to some Highland heather because I didn't want it all grey. I then took my sentiment that I was going to use, so I took hang in there even when you don't understand, because I'm going to give this to somebody in particular, but I have embossed it in white, and I thought this could be used for a birthday if need be, so I thought that was another nice little sentiment on there. So I'm going to put that on here, and as you can see, this is slightly smaller because the whole panel needs to pop out. So I'm just going to put glue on half of the side that needs to stick and center it well. There we go. So that's how that is going to work. Okay, so then you just need to do all your lovely flowers and greenery. So I'm going to take a piece of scrap white. I'm going to show you, I've done this with Gorgeous Grape and Fresh Freesia and Pear Pizzazz. Now what I quite like to do, because I find sponge daubers, if you're working with 2 similar colours, you will easily discolour the lighter colour. So I thought what I would do is put this on a block. So put them both on the block. Now this may not work because my Fresh Freesia actually needs to be inked again. So we'll see if it works. But it's quite handy to do it this way. Now then I need to put my wisteria on a block and take the darker colour first. So the darker colour is going to go on the top bit, and that is really how you get the two-tone. You could do it as one, but it's actually quite pretty to do it in the two-tone. Now this might not be enough. Let's see. I might have to put it on my... The thing is, with a sponge dauber, you're mixing it with the dark and the light. So if you then put it on your stamp pad, you're getting a darker tone on your stamp pad. So that's why I like to put it in the block. Let's see how this works out. Press hard, and there we go. So I think you'll agree it looks really lovely and effective. So I have done loads of these. Let's put that away, and I've got a little selection here, and I'm going to now decorate the front of my card. So I've got a few leaves, and I've stamped off as well, so to give you sort of a two-tone effect. So what you need to remember when doing this is that this is flat, but then this needs to come out. So when you're hanging things, you don't want it hanging over this bit, or if you put something there, you don't want it hanging or blocking this part. This way is not so bad because the mechanism is on this side and not on this side. So I start with that first, and that means that I might have to chop this up, because if you see, I've had to chop these bits off a little bit. I'll chop that bit as well. So I'm just going to see what it looks like. So this bit, I would chop this to make it so that it can sort of go like that, and then that would hang. So you still get the greenery, and then that could go underneath. So I'm going to put these two on dimensionals and that not on dimensional. So let's glue this first. And I don't want glue on all of it. Now remembering not to have it too high up there, because it's not needs to get in the envelope. Trying to miss this bit, but have a little bit of greenery there. And then I'm going to pop that there, I think. Where's the other two? There we go. And then that could go there. So that's going to be glued down, and the other two I'm going to put on dimensionals like that. So you're just really building it all up. There we go. So that's that bit. Then this could go down here, and I've got some little pieces of greenery here that I can use for that bit. So again, that wouldn't matter that I had 3 there. I don't need to cut this, so I'm just going to glue that down at the base of the flowers. I want them sort of down a little bit because I don't want them sort of looking as if they're hanging in midair. And then there, I'm just going to poke these little bits in, glue that at the base again, poke it in where I think it needs it. So maybe there. This is the lighter one. Maybe colour that in, put that in through there. Now I have got a bit more greenery, but let's see how we go with this. Right, I'm going to cut that right down because that is far too big. So I'm going to sort of put it like that. And then this one, so you just need to make sure that you're not covering the sentiment as well. So that could go there, that could go there. Let me just make sure that that is going to work. That should work. So, bit of glue. Trying to keep the leaves within just a millimetre or so of the card, but it's quite nice to have it a little bit off the card. So then I need to hide that bit, so that will need to come down here like that. So I would like to put that on dimensionals. I'm going to put the dimensionals there and there. It's a bit of playing around, but it's a lovely effect. Right, I just want to catch that in there. So yeah, looking good. It's fine. And then I will finish off with my little gems. These are the opaque adhesive backed gems. So I've got a couple on there already, and I've used sort of the bigger purple and the lilac-y fresh freesia ones. Put it there. So I could have these for another card, I think. All these bits. It's always best to have more. So that's the front done. And then the back, as you can see, I have done this. I've already pre-done that because I thought, well, you've already seen that. So that is 13.5 by 13.5. And that is your card finished. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's not as hard as it looks. That's your little fun fold. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you very much for joining me. And my next live will be in 2 weeks, and that will be live, not pre-recorded. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.